Welcome to Dreamforce. Welcome to our session, AppExchange for Service, Wow with Customer Service Apps. I should be holding the thing that allows me to advance the slides. I do have to show you our safe harbor statement. We are a publicly traded company. Please make your purchasing decisions based upon features and functionality available in the marketplace today. You can read our full safe harbor statement on salesforce.com. We have a fantastic customer panel for you today. My name is Chris Duarte. I am a Success Account Manager here at Salesforce. We also have Guillermo Pedroni from Telligis, Mike Carter from QLogic, and Catherine Moore from the Canadian Cancer Society. Now they're going to come up and they're going to share some of their favorite apps and some of their stories in just a moment. But we're going to start with a story of my own. So here's a quick story. Let me paint the picture for you. The year was 1995. I was working at a certain theme park featuring a certain mouse. The big movie came out that year at Thanksgiving featuring two toys, a cowboy and a spaceman. Now the toy that every kid wanted that holiday was the doll of the spaceman. So what do you think happened? Sold out everywhere, except for at the park where we got a big shipment. Now, we were awesome at putting product on the shelves, but we did not have a process set up to get product to people who were not in the park. So we did what any company would do. We set up a quick call center. We put some business process in place super fast, and yes, we did implement technology. Now, I'm going to use some air quotes around implement technology because I want to remind you of the year, 1995. Who here was rocking a beeper in 1995? Put your hand up. There's no shame in it. We're all in it together. Okay, I had one too. So we put some technology in place, and yes, we rolled out process, but a lot of what we were doing was very, very manual. Now, I'm delighted to say that we wowed so many customers with that call center, and we shipped so much product in the couple of weeks before the holidays. And so when I look back on this story, it's with fondness and gratitude and nostalgia and happiness. But there's a part of me, let's call it the ex-project manager part of me, that looks at this and thinks, what might we have been able to do if only we had had Salesforce, if only we had had AppExchange? Because if you want to be nimble, if you want to go fast, these are the tools to help you go faster. Now, the great news for all of you is you don't have to wonder what if, because the year is not 1995. The year is 2014, and you do have Salesforce. You do have the AppExchange. Look at those numbers. Over 2.5 million installs. Over 2,500 apps. Of them, 800 are free. I'm going to say that one more time. 800 are free. How many of you have downloaded a free app on the AppExchange? Put your hand up. Okay, I want to see every hand in the room raised next Dreamforce. That's an opportunity for you to take advantage of. 300 of the apps are mobile ready for you to start using today to power your mobile strategy. All you got to do is come to the AppExchange with your requirements. What do you need? Now, you all are service professionals, I'm assuming, because you are in a service session. So you will be coming for a service app. But we've also got apps for sales and for marketing. You need to tell us your budget. How much can you spend? Tell us your timing. How quickly do you need to stand this up? And then if you're in a highly regulated field like government or healthcare or financial services, we've also got apps that are specific for you. I want to pause just for a minute and tell you a little bit about navigating the AppExchange, because you open it up and the first thing you do is you go to search, right? That's what everybody does. That's what I do. But I just want to call attention to the left-hand navigation. So there's some nice ways to browse. If you are new to the AppExchange, there's nice ways to browse the AppExchange right there. See what's new, what's popular, what's free, right? Free, love free. We have collections. Are you a small business? We have a collection for you. We can filter by category. This is the one important one for the people in this session. So I'm going to give you a homework assignment. If you only take one thing away from this session, okay, one thing away, it's that you go home you open up the AppExchange and you check out the customer service category. You're going to see a ton of apps there that are suited for your needs. And I'm going to highlight just a couple of them right here on this slide. So again, we're all service professionals here. We're all together in the circle of trust, the circle of service trust. We know what's important to you. You want to connect your CRM to your phone system. So we have apps for that. Call centers and customer service and customer engagement centers are typically a cost center, which means you need your agents to be as productive as possible. So we have apps for that as well. In fact, one of our customers today is going to speak about New Voice Media, an app that's doing great things for her and her business. Voice of the customer. In service, we live and die by the voice of the customer, CSAT, NPS. There are numbers, but behind those numbers are people, the people we are charged with serving. Why not unlock the voice of the customer with these apps on the AppExchange for surveys? And finally, your customers expect the same level of service, whether they're talking to somebody in a customer engagement center over the phone or whether that person is knocking on their door. So you need mobile apps to power your field service team. So check out what we've got for you here. Now that's enough of hearing me wax poetic about the AppExchange. So I could probably talk about Service Cloud and the AppExchange for a whole hour. I want to bring up one of our customers, and he's going to share with you some of his favorite apps that Telligis is using to power their service deployment. So please, round of applause. Welcome, Guillermo Padroni. Come on up, Guillermo.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Guillermo, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell them a little about Telligis, and then take it away.
So I've been using Salesforce for about 8 years. I'm currently running Orange County User Group. Telligis specifically has been using Salesforce. Can you guys still hear me? No. Can you hear me now? How about now? Testing, 1, 2, 3. All right, so how about you Testing, 1, 2, 3. Okay, you can hear me now, right? All right, cool. So let's start over. So my name is Guillermo Padroni. I currently run the Orange County User Group. I'm also an avid customer, very happy customer of Salesforce. At Telligis, we do telematics, vehicle tracking, fleet tracking, asset tracking. You have a business truck or fleet of trucks or mobile vehicles, we can track it, we can follow you all over the world. So that's a little bit about Telligis. So we use Salesforce wall to wall. We've been using it since 2007. I've been using Salesforce for about 8 years now. And we use it for everything, not just Service Cloud. We use it for order entries, sales, marketing, accounts receivables, and a lot of other things. But specifically, I'm going to talk about the Service Cloud apps. The very first application is called Kronos Sites. They were formerly known as Workit. So a lot of times, the beauty of the Service Cloud is you can create your tickets, track your problems, track customer information, process those tickets, close it out. One of the functions you can use is SLAs to try to track, when you need, how long it takes to triage, how long it takes to respond, how long it takes to complete and resolve the issues at hand. One of the things that the Service Cloud does not offer is how much time is each representative on the phone? How much time is each representative doing research on a call? How much time are they doing emails? How much time does it actually take, and how many different functions does it take to achieve closing and resolving an actual case? So with that, we found an app called Kronos Insights, Workit. So what this app does is you can relatively within, I would say, half an hour or less, depending on how complex your business process is, you can categorically identify each bucket and each metric that you're trying to track. Again, phone calls, research, searching, team collaboration, and things like that. And what happens is there's this pop-up timer every time a Service Cloud person hits that case, and it starts tracking it. And it asks the service rep what they're doing at that time, and it just buckets the times up to the second. And then using analytics, you can actually analyze how much each basic category takes to complete. Does it take 6 people? Does it take 10 people? Does it take 1 person? How much research, et cetera, et cetera. So if you're really looking to get into the details and the nitty-gritty of how much effort does it take to close a case by its type or its category, this app does a really, really good job. And you can identify bottlenecks and all kinds of other fun analytics from there. The next application is called ClickTools. They're now calling themselves Connect the Dots, I believe, also. So part of what Service Cloud can do is track your cases, but not the feedback or the information of how the customer feels. So with ClickTools, again, probably within an hour of installation and implementation, it is a third-party service that plugs in and hooks into Salesforce. Using a simple workflow and an email editor, HTML email, you can set up a workflow and feed your case information directly to your customer using the ClickTools survey application and get real-time responses from your customers. So you can ask them, how was your representative? How was the professionalism of the company? How do you like our product? How did you like your close rate? How did you like the solution? Has your problem been resolved? Even though the support rep closes the case, doesn't sometimes mean that the customer's satisfied with the closure of the case. So this is one more opportunity to say, hey, did we do a good job or did we not do a good job? By the time that the customer clicks on that email, it takes them to the ClickTools site within seconds, and all they have to do is fill out a couple radio boxes or measurements and add a little bit of feedback, maybe say I didn't complete the case, and the minute that they hit save, it commits to the database, and within not even 10 seconds, it comes right back into Salesforce. So you guys can actually have real-time dashboards of what your CSAT is, who specifically by rep is not doing a very good job, how professional has each representative been, or what categories do you guys tend to have problems with. And that ClickTools application does a really, really superb job. And looks like they're coming out with mobile surveys soon. We haven't done those yet, but it's a really great application. At this point, we're using it for service, bugs, features. We're also doing it for accounts receivables, satisfaction. And we're going to start using it in our IT department to get every 30 days feedback. Now, what we don't do is we email each customer every time they close a case, because you don't want to spam a customer and make them feel that they're getting too much messaging from you. So our only tip would be try to keep it to like every 30 days minimum to like every 90 days, depending on your customer, and have a simple email opt-out feature. The last application that I'm going to talk about is called Dynamic Inline Help by Software Anywhere. This application isn't very specifically focused, and just like ClickTools, it's not just focused on the Service Cloud, but it can definitely be leveraged in the Service Cloud. So with Inline Help, for a lot of new service representatives, what you can do is you can build like a guided navigation, guided documents explaining at a particular record type case and at a particular status and type of case that you're working on, you can explain you must first respond to the case, you must first triage the case, you must first categorize where this falls in the queue, you must then respond and explain to the customer and ask them these 6 questions. And with that, you can do like all kinds of call scripting, and there's many, many uses and scenarios. This is not like a point-and-click navigation scenario. It's just more like an inline help documentation that dynamically builds. So you do have to this one takes a little bit more time to implement, but if you already have some basic help documentation, you can probably get it done within an hour or 2, depending on how complex your org is. So yeah.
Thank you. How about a round of applause for Guillermo? Sorry. Okay.
Everybody's awake.
Mike Carter, up next.
Hi, I'm Mike Carter. Test 1, 2. Hi, I'm Mike Carter. I'm with QLogic Corporation. We're a high-tech or high-performance networking company in the high-tech industry. And we've been Salesforce users since 2002, although my group, which is in services, has been using the call center application since 2008. Ever since then, we've continued to grow and expand our usage, and obviously AppExchange is an area where we found a lot of tools where we've been able to implement. And the first one we did that really had a huge impact was email to case premium. Email to case premium allows us to get our incoming email, which is a large percentage of our initial communications and ongoing communications. It takes the email and immediately moves the most recent thread or the top of the email into case notes directly. And then it also takes attachments and puts them in directly into the case. This saved a heck of a lot of time for our agents who were cutting and pasting things because we require all the content from an email to be in case notes. And the reason why we were doing that stems from having people not in our organization coming in looking at a case, whether it's a sales agent or somebody in the executive team wanting to see what's going on with the case. They don't know, go look in the emails or go look other places or how to use the tool. So we say just open up the case and look and see what's in the thread. It's all there. So that auditing portion of it turned out to be really important to us. But the thing that makes it so successful, like any good tool, it makes the agents' jobs easier. Everyone adapted to it immediately, and they love it. They really do. If we had that functionality taken away, there would be a revolt. So yeah.
We'll do questions at the end, actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And so we've had really good adoption with this tool. And the other thing it does is you can either use the templates that come natively with Salesforce, or this also has a pull-down native template that comes in with the tool. So you can add additional templates that are specific to that. And this all is done from your case screen. You don't have to go and drill into any other screen. It's all done just like you were adding a case note. So last year, we started a project to add knowledge, to bring our knowledge content into Salesforce, which we have been wanting to do for a long time. Of course, there's reporting. I'm a manager. Reporting is very important so I can monitor how we're doing. And there's a free dashboard knowledge reporting package out on AppExchange, which got us right off the bat loaded up and ready to go. So from the day we launched Knowledge, we had this installed and we're able to track what's going on. The other thing which was really helpful is, not every report is exactly how I want it. Well, I have the baseline there. I can go in and make modifications, save it off to my own directory, and make the changes I wanted. The other thing which was really nice about that is it helped me understand the schema. If you like that kind of thing, you can go in there and look at a report, see how it's built, and figure out how things are interconnected within the reporting structure. So for someone like me, I love that. I'm sure some of you do too. So again, free. And as Chris was saying earlier, what was it, 800 free applications on AppExchange.
Go get them.
So one thing we wish we had when we implemented Knowledge was this tool, which Steve, who's one of our admins, and Beth, who's another one of our admins, are here. But Steve found this one, a global search and replace. So our company spells its name capital Q, capital L, O-I-G-C. L-O-G-I-C, yeah, like I know how to spell. In any case, but it's unusual because it's capital Q, capital L. Not everybody spells it correctly, even though they work there and they've been doing it. This allowed that consistency. Just go make sure if anybody spelled it incorrectly, you can get it and changed with one step. You don't have to go into every article. If there's a change in product name, if there's any kind of change in marketing, material, where there's just a different branding, and most of you probably have had that happen to you. You got to make changes throughout. It's a big deal. It's a lot of work. Not with this tool. We were able to go in there and make changes in one fell swoop. Oh yeah, and it's free. We like free. It's right. It's just great. because you can get it, plug it in, put it in the sandbox, try it out, and implement it, and you don't have to go through all the gyrations of getting the funding to put an app in. Not that any of these are really all that expensive, but again, free solves a lot of problems, especially when it's a great tool like this that saves a heck of a lot of time. So thanks.
Great, thank you, Mike. So I just want to call out that last one because I want to make sure everybody got it. At one point in my career, I had to change 1,200 knowledge articles because we changed the name of customer support to customer care. And we had to go in and manually update 1,200. See, you're shaking your finger at me. You had it happen to you too, right? So that tool that is free will allow you to do that in one step. Amazing, amazing. Thank you, Mike.
Just knowledge, or you can make it work in Service Cloud or anywhere else?
Let's take that question at the end, but that's a great one. Yes, absolutely. 'Cause I want to make sure we have time for our third speaker. We're going to shift gears just a little bit. So our first two speakers each shared 3 of their favorite apps. Our last speaker is going to tell you a story that the Canadian Cancer Society, this business problem they were trying to solve, and how the team at New Voice Media and their fantastic application helped them to be able to solve that business problem and delight and wow more. So please welcome Catherine Moore.
Thanks, Chris. I'm really grateful for the opportunity to be here today. Thank you. I work for the Canadian Cancer Society. We're the largest nonprofit in Canada that deals with cancer. And our vision is to create a world where no Canadian fears cancer. So we do that by funding research, providing critical support programs for people living with cancer, and by launching awareness campaigns to help people understand the risks related to cancer. We've been using Salesforce since 2010. We started using it for fundraising. That's what brought us to Salesforce. But we very quickly learned the benefits of Salesforce and case management around customer service. And we started to realize the volume of customer issues that we were having with some of our constituents. And actually, in 2 years since we've been using cases, we've had over 50,000 customer cases. So that was a bit of an eye-opener for us. This time last year, we have a signature event, Relay for Life. Some of you might be familiar with it because the American Cancer Society does it also. Relay is responsible for 50% of our revenue in Saskatchewan, in Canada, and we have had declining revenues for the past few years. A bunch of people got together across the country and we're looking for ways to innovate the event to try and increase participation and increase revenues. And people came up with things like, well, let's look at changing the hours or having more coffee or changing the way the tents are. And in Saskatchewan, we were looking for a game changer. We really felt that the problem was big enough that we needed to do something radically different. So we took a long-term view. That's sometimes a bit of a challenge in a charity when you're facing declining revenues. It's a bit hard to pitch to a board. You need to spend more money now to make more money later. A bit challenging. But we went with the principle that if you have a customer, it costs less to keep that customer than to get a new customer. So we developed lifetime journeys, lifetime engagement journeys for our participants for Relay for Life. So we were doing that in the hopes that if people are happy, they'll keep coming back. And if they keep coming back and they're happy, they'll raise more money to support our life-saving work. So we decided this time last year, or about 2 weeks from now this time last year, that we would launch a multi-channel engagement center to really build up our engagement with our existing constituents and hopefully some new ones along the way. So we came to Dreamforce last year, 4 of us, having no idea anything to do with call centers or contact centers or engagement centers, and our goal was to get out there and learn as much as we could. So we knew that we were planning on launching this center. We visited every booth in the expo and talked to every vendor we could find that would listen to us. And our number one requirement was that whatever solution we used allowed us to leverage the power of the data we already had in Salesforce. We have a lot of information about people. We know their connection to cancer. We know their volunteer histories. We know their donor histories. We wanted people to be able to use that information in having engaging conversations with these participants. So we needed something that was going to be right there inside Salesforce. We actually launched this engagement center in 5 weeks after the board approved it. We went with New Voice Media. The team there was fantastic. One of the things that helped us choose New Voice Media was that it allowed that full integration with Salesforce in a way that was really easy for our non-technical brand new agents to learn how to use. Really, really key, because we went with a different model for our staff. We went with people who weren't technical, but who had the experience maybe as cancer survivors or people who had family with cancer who could really have those rich conversations. So learning complex technology wasn't going to be something they were going to be able to do quickly. New Voice Media allows us to, when inbound calls, it pops the contact record, so we have that information right at our fingertips to have that conversation right away. For our outbound calls, we are able to customize the Service Cloud to include those custom objects that have the relevant information about participants' fundraising metrics and how they're doing, to have that really rich conversation. We had a big customer service issue. We knew this because of the cases that came in and because of the calls, the complaint calls that went to our executive director. We realized we had this black hole. As a community grassroots organization, we have 10 offices across the province of Saskatchewan serving 1 million people. And we have 1 part-time staff to maybe 2 to 3 full-time staff in those offices. So what was happening is if somebody went on vacation or called in sick, that office was essentially closed. And we lived in the world of a phone number rang on a physical phone, 1 physical phone in a desk in an office that's now closed. So all these calls were going into this black hole when people were sick or on vacation, or we had a series of long-term leaves. And so we had all these people calling our head office saying, why isn't anybody answering the phone? Why isn't anybody taking my call? So New Voice Media actually allowed us to go beyond what we'd originally set out to do and create this pool of agents or people across the province, and to route calls into people in a priority basis based on geography. So if you call in from the local number in Regina, Saskatchewan, you're going to get the agent in Regina or the 2 agents in Regina as long as they're available. But if they're not, you're going to bounce immediately to somebody else who has access to all the same information right inside Salesforce with the contact record popped. So we're now in a position where for all of those calls, we can create that exceptional customer service experience at the first point of call and no more black hole. We love the real-time monitoring that comes with New Voice Media. It's kind of funny, actually. As a charity, we sort of dismissed a lot of the vendors when we were looking at products around call center metrics, because we thought, you know, we're really nice. We don't want to upset our agents. We don't want them to feel pressured with metrics. So we're not going to worry about metrics. Typical call center metrics aren't an issue to us. Well, we were really lucky, actually, that New Voice Media came on site for our launch week. It was great, great support. Sidebar, actually, Siobhan was her name. She came from Ireland to Regina, Saskatchewan in January, where it was minus 45 for 5 days. She would come in the morning and say, "It is colder here than it is in the pole." Poor woman. I think she wore every piece of clothing she had. But she sort of just said, "I know you're not really interested in this, but let me show you some of the things it can do." Well, my engagement center manager and I spent the first 3 weeks watching those wall boards, and we realized we actually had a 14 to 18% answer rate. And that was the quantification of that black hole. So we were very quickly able to make some changes and add people to queues and pools to bring that service rate up to now we're consistently answering 90% of our calls, and the other 10 are going out into breakout voicemail and getting a call back the same day. The other thing that we really like about it is that we can change, update, create new call architectures. In our old world, we used to have to call our vendor, SaskTel, which is a crown corporation running the phone company. We had to give them 6 weeks lead time and had to pay them several $100s to make one single change to any of the routing, time of day business, anything like that. Definite monopoly with the whole crown corporation thing. Now I can, for example, today's Canadian Thanksgiving. So I just had to go in and quickly add a holiday. That ensures that nobody is going into any queues. They're going straight to the easy to customize Happy Thanksgiving. We're closed today. Please feel free to press 1 to leave a message, or we'll call us back tomorrow. I can quickly change the open hours of anything. You know, we do nighttime calls, but sometimes we have events at night, so we shut the nighttime hours and it routes people to closed messages. And we were able to add call recording on things. Again, we didn't think we would use that, but it's proven to be really helpful for us in terms of quality assurance, and has allowed us to put measures in place to add some training where we maybe needed some customer support training. So, where did we get to? So we launched in February. Relay for Life, our events took place in June. So one of our vendors was smart enough to suggest we use a control group so that we could look at the impact, thankfully. Customer service was a key measure for us, so we used surveys and self-reported sentiment shift. We had a huge problem in the province around Relay for Life and the organization. People were not happy with us. What we found was that 75% of the calls resulted in a positive shift in terms of people's perception of the event and our organization. That was huge for us. People really, really loved getting those phone calls. Fundraising trends tell us that participants that are more engaged are going to raise more money. You want people to personalize their fundraising page, you want them to send more emails, and you want to reduce the number of $0 fundraisers. People who raise $0 actually cost us a lot of money. They don't realize it, but they cost us a lot of money. So what we found was that 10% fewer people in our engagement journey group, the ones who went through the engagement journey, were $0 fundraisers. I know it doesn't sound great, 58% of them still raise $0, but the national average is closer to 75%. So we are making an impact, and that 10% makes a huge difference. And the other thing you want to do is you want to make sure everybody reaches their fundraising goal, because if they're not, then again, we're in a deficit situation with the event. So we bumped that number up by 9% over the control group. But the great news is the people who went through the engagement journey raised 225% more than those who didn't. So for us,
That's all going to cancer research, folks.
Exactly. That's a great story for us. And so we have since rolled out engagement journeys for a couple of other events, and we're just getting started to start registering people for Relay 2015. So, thanks.
Nice job. Thank you so much. These are great numbers. 75% positive shift as a result of using this app. Amazing to hear your story. Thank you so much for sharing it. I know we have a couple questions. I just want to quickly say, we would love for you to learn more about what apps are out there. Maybe we'll just take a quick poll. How many of you here learned about an app today that you want to go explore? Oh, mission accomplished. Fantastic. Love it. If you want to learn even more, please join us on www.matchapps.cool and play our AppExchange Match Apps game. If you come visit us in the Cloud Expo Moscone North, you can win fabulous prizes in addition to the amazing apps that you have the opportunity to install. We do want you to keep talking to us. I am on the Success Community. How many people are on the Success Community? Now, I want more hands next time for that, too. All right. Okay, well, I am there, and I would love to talk with you more. Again, I'm Chris Duarte, and our panel is also on the Success Community. We would love to connect with you and answer more questions. We've got 7 minutes for questions. I'm super thrilled. I know we already have 2, so I'm going to start with you because you asked about the Knowledge app. This is the replace. You wanted to know if it worked on something other than knowledge. And so, Mike, do you happen to know the answer to that?
As far as I know, it only works on knowledge, I'm afraid.
What
are you interested in working on? You wanted to use it for Service Cloud. Okay.
Okay. And we had another question here. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, Guillermo. Sorry.
Hi. I'm sorry. So you can technically use a data loading application. I won't go into too much detail. Extract all the data, do find, replace, and CSV, and do mass import backend.
Yep.
Awesome. And I think this gentleman here, you had a question earlier. Do you want to go to the mic maybe so we can hear you? It's right behind you.
Email to case premium, is it on demand or it supports? It is supported by the Exchange server as well.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
The email to case premium, the one that you talked about, is it on demand email to case, or is it it can be supported by any Exchange server?
It's used with Exchange. I'm afraid I don't know about any other email services other than Exchange, but we're using it with Exchange. My expectation is that you would be able to use it for something else, but I would go to, I think the name of the company is Internet Creations, and ask them.
Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you all so much for joining us. Have a great Dreamforce.